Hi everyone, Abby here, and welcome back to my channel for Tech Tuesday, or welcome if you're new. Now today I'm going to be reviewing the new Garmin Venu 4 smartwatch. Now I've had this smartwatch for weeks, and I'm going to be sharing my honest opinion with you guys today. I have the Venu 4 41mm here. Garmin kind of scrapped the S name. Instead of calling it the 4S, they're just calling it Venu 4 41mm. I do have this in the color Periwinkle Silver. So it does have a silver colored bezel, casing, accent, and then it has a periwinkle colored band. The periwinkle here looks a lot less purple in person. It's very bluish with a hint of purple. I do think it's a nice color for sure, but it's definitely not what I was expecting. And it does come on some other colors as well, which you could see on screen. So the current price as of recording is $769.99 Canadian and $549.99 American. All right guys, now I'm gonna go into the major spec highlights about this smartwatch so you can get an idea of what it can do. So the Garmin Venu 4 here has an AMOLED color display, a battery life up to 10 days. You can track your daily metrics like your steps, your calories burned, your active minutes, heart rate monitoring, floors climbed. It has a built-in GPS, so you can use this for your outdoor activity tracking. Tracks an abundance of activities like running, walking, yoga, cycling, swimming, and more. Yes, you can swim in it because this smartwatch is water resistant up to 5 ATM or 50 meters. This smartwatch does have suggested daily workouts that are tailored to your own physical activity. You can see your smartphone notifications on here and reply to text messages. It also has a built-in speaker and microphone, so you can do things like placing phone calls, can use voice assistant as well. And the Garmin watch here is compatible with Android phones and with iPhones. So you can use Siri as a voice assistant, you can use Google, you can use Bixby. It has built-in Bluetooth, and you can also use the Bluetooth to connect external devices like a speed and cadence sensor, an external heart rate sensor, Bluetooth headphones. This smartwatch also has a built-in flashlight. It does have music functionality on here, so you can download your favorite music and podcasts and listen to them phone free on the go. And I've got ahead and listed a bunch more features on screen for you guys. So as requested by many of you, I'm going to be doing a comparison of the new Garmin Venu 4 to the Garmin Venu 3S. So make sure you're subscribed with your post notification bell turned on so you don't miss that video. I'll be letting you guys know in that one which one I prefer overall. All right guys, so this is what it looks like on me. I do have a 7-inch wrist. You guys can see that there's a good amount of holes left over. I've gone ahead and placed all the wrist sizes this can fit on screen for you guys. Now wearing this smartwatch, it is very lightweight. Within about like 20 minutes or so of having it on, I honestly forget it's on my wrist. I like that the band is nice and smooth against my skin as well. I don't find the smartwatch irritating at all. I do think it's a pretty nice looking smartwatch myself. Wearing this, something I like is that the watch keeper here stays in place. It has a little like thing, so it just doesn't loosen on itself. It's pretty easy to clean as well. It's a light color, so I know some of you guys worry about that, but I haven't had issues with that myself. I do use a screen protector on it, like a TPU film one. I got some off of Amazon. If you guys are interested, I'll put a link in the description. It does have a quick release watch band with little pins, so kind of just put your nail in there and you pull. And then to put it back in, you just line it up with the holes in here, pull the pin back, and then you just line it up and it's back in place. So I do like having quick release watch bands, and this is the 18mm band here. All right guys, so when it comes to the display on the smartwatch, it does have an AMOLED color display. And with this, you can see bright, bold, punchy colors, pretty contrasting. I do find it fairly easy to read. You can see at certain angles, it does become a bit harder to read, but you can still see the screen. And this is at the brightness on low. If I went ahead and turned it up, it does become a lot easier to read even, at certain angles. And this is what the display looks like outdoors. There's some glare that you can see from the sunlight, but I do find it pretty readable when you have the brightness pumped up high enough, but just keep in mind when you have the brightness higher for extended periods of times, your battery life is going to drain faster. Something else I did want to mention is the brightness is not super adjustable. You just have those 3 levels there. And if you're finding this video helpful so far, please go ahead and smash that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. It does have a flashlight built into the top there. So that can be handy for you if you're in a dark lighting situation, you need a quick light. Even if you get up at night and you're going to the bathroom, super handy. So here's the flashlight there. So we have it at 1 brightness, 2, 3, and 4. So it does actually get, you know, decently bright. And you can put on a red light as well. So with this smartwatch, you can track a huge amount of activities. So right now you're seeing my most used, but there's a bunch more that you can track. So they've gone ahead and they kind of sectioned off all the activities into like categories, which I am not a fan of. It does have a good amount of activities for sure that you can track. Now with Garmin watches, I find that they do an excellent job tracking your activities. Depending on the activity you get, they're going to track different things. For example, if I'm doing a cardio workout, it'll track my calories burned, it's going to track my heart rate, my respiration rate, stuff like that. If I'm doing an outdoor walk, for example, it's going to track my steps, it's going to track my heart rate, it's going to track my breath rate, my pace. Track a lot of activities and they do it very well. That is honestly, I think, the best benefit of getting a Garmin watch is that you're getting excellent activity tracking. I'm showing you guys all the activities because I know a lot of people always wonder what can they track. So hoping you guys do find this little section helpful. And as I mentioned at the beginning there, these are my most used, so you can go ahead and pick favorites so you don't have to search through every time, which is quite nice. I really like the amount of information you get from Garmin when it comes to working out, and I find the accuracy just really, really good. Especially when it comes to outdoor activities with the GPS, I find that the route is always spot on. And I find that the pace on this smartwatch adjusts pretty quickly. You can do animated workouts on here. So if I want to do the 30-minute blast, so it tells you the muscles that you're going to be working out. And then it gives you a little animation of that workout. So I actually really like this. It's a nice, helpful thing to try to get you to do proper form. And so you actually know how to perform the workout. You know, this is all free, it's built in, and there's even more that you can download on the Garmin app. Smartwatch has a training status. Basically shows like your training readiness score and current training status. Mine is at moderate. My training status right now is at maintaining. Just showing you guys my last workout here. You're gonna see the time, the duration of your workout, your heart rate, your average heart rate, the amount of calories burned. You're gonna see a little map of your heart rate. You can see your heart rate zones broken down. It gives you how much of your workout was anaerobic versus aerobic, your total load. So you're gonna see how this workout had an effect on your fitness levels. So that is what you're gonna see on average after a workout. If you do a run as well, you're gonna see a little kind of mapped out route, but without the map. So you're just gonna see a little line of where you traveled. If you go into the Garmin app, you see a lot more information there. Looking at the stats here, you guys can just see there's like a lot of information that you could really get on smartphone here. So it is pretty handy to see all of that information for a workout. All right, guys, so now I'm gonna talk about women's health. So for my men out there, anyone else who doesn't want to see this, you can go ahead and use my timestamps in the description below and skip to the next section where I'm going to be talking about sleep tracking. So as I mentioned, the smartwatch does have a women's health option where you can track your menstrual cycle on here. Something I found weird is that it didn't come pre-installed. I had to go into the Garmin Connect IQ app here and download it. You're going to see your day you are in your cycle, and you can go ahead and you can track various symptoms. Just kind of common things that some women experience. I like that it's very organized. Everything's in alphabetical order. And you can also go ahead and track your mood, which I do like that there's a good amount of options there. You can track if you're experiencing any discharge. If you're actually on your period, you can track your flow intensity as well. So it's gonna be like light, medium, heavy. And in the actual Garmin app, you can go ahead and you can customize even more. You can kind of choose what you want to see and what you don't, so you can tick things on and off, which I love the fact that it's really customizable there. And you can see a period prediction, so you can get a prediction of when your next period is going to start. And in my experience, it's been spot on accurate. I find this to be a helpful tool. All right, guys, so when it comes to sleep tracking on this smartwatch, it tracks your sleep. It also tracks naps if you're a napper, and it has a sleep coach built in as well. Just showing you guys a sleep coach real quick. This is saying this is the recommended amount of sleep that they want me to have. They choose this based on your, actual sleep data. So they told me to try to add on about 40 minutes because of my sleep last night. And my average sleep duration was kind of poor the last few days. Especially that day. That day was not good. But anyways, so this could be, a little helpful tool here. When you actually look at your sleep data here, you're going to see a sleep score out of 100. You're going to see your sleep duration, your sleep quality, a message there, and another message here about your sleep, as well as a little graph here showing your overall sleep stages. You could see that graph, but just in a bigger form here. And now you can see that broken down into times. A little bit easier to read that way for me anyways. And there's a little border like graph going around there. You can see your sleep stages over time. So when it comes to sleep tracking here, sleep stages, I do find that they are off. Especially the time awake, it's always way too low. Garmin, I think their biggest weakness is sleep tracking. I think they do like everything super well, but the sleep tracking is just very mid. It definitely needs improvement because the sleep stages are always off. But if you're just looking for general metrics on how you slept, if you want to know if I slept great, if I slept moderate, if I slept poor, all of these things, you're gonna get that sleep quality message and score, which I think are pretty spot on. And if you want to know when you fell asleep and woke up, hey, I think that's accurate too. Sleep stages, definitely off. So take these with a grain of salt. You do have HRV status on here as well. So this can be something that's beneficial. I know a lot of you guys really like having HRV on your smartwatches. This one does have it. So just showing you my results here. So the Garmin Venu 4 here has a quoted battery life up to 10 days on a single charge. And that is with the optional always on display turned off. Now with my usage, doing things like GPS walks, runs, using daily alarms, timers, voice assistant, and more, I've gotten on average 6 to 7 days of battery life with this smartwatch here. So overall, pretty good. I only have to charge this really once a week or every other week, and I think most people would find it really easy to fit that into their lifestyle. If I go ahead and turn on the optional always on display, it does reduce my battery life significantly. Doing that, I get on average about 3.5 to 4 days of battery life there. Even when you have it optionally always on, it's not really always on because you're gonna see your display, but it's gonna time out and it's gonna get really dim. So to be able to see it brighter again, you really have to tap the display. So if you want a true always on, you're gonna have to get a memory and pixel smartwatch, which Garmin has just kind of stopped making. I think the last one I purchased was Fenix 7S. All right guys, so now I'm gonna go over the basics of how to use this smartwatch here. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is to light up that display to turn it on so you can use it. So you can do that by pressing either of the buttons here, or you can go ahead and tap the display when it's off, or if you have the raise to wake function turned on, you can raise it towards your face and the screen will light up. Once the smartwatch is on, you can swipe up and you can see all of your widgets and your daily metrics here. So just showing you guys a couple of mine. There's heart rate, body battery, and a bunch more. And if you go ahead and you click on any of these, it opens it up into a bigger view where you can get more detailed information about it. You swipe right to go back, or you can click the bottom button down here to go back. If I go ahead and hold this button up here, it opens up like a little shortcut menu where you can go ahead and kind of turn on and off some things like Bluetooth, turn on and off the watch and more, and you can get into your settings this way, or you can go and customize more things such as your brightness. You can turn on the always on display, you can add Bluetooth devices and more. Now, if I press this button once, it opens up a little menu here where you can, at this point, go into an app or a widget. You can hop into your settings from this area. There's also watch faces here, or you can go ahead and you can start a workout as well by clicking on either of these kind of shortcut ones, or clicking here and going more into the menu. And then you're gonna click on it and start. Press that to stop it when you're done. Now, if you don't like the sounds, you can go ahead and you can mute this. You can do that in the settings as well. Now, if I go ahead and swipe down from the home page, you're gonna see notifications here. And you can go ahead and click on one, and this is a move reminder. So if you are not active, instead of getting just step reminders, they'll give you a move reminder. So you can go ahead and you could take steps, or you can do one of these activities. I'll just show you guys an example. They do change throughout the day, which I think is pretty interesting. So you're not always seeing the exact same thing. They're just 30 seconds of movement to get you going. And when you're done, gives you a little good job. So kind of cute to see. Now, if you get a notification come in, like a text message, you can reply to it. You can do pre-made responses here. You could actually write exactly what you want here in the Garmin app and then sync it and add it on. Or you can go to the keyboard and type whatever you want to do for your response there. I find it easier to do it in the app because the keyboard here is so tiny. And lastly, if I hold the button here, it turns on the flashlight and turns it off. Definitely, I think it's pretty straightforward once you get the hang of it. They had changed this a lot from other Garmin watches, and the fact that this has 2 buttons instead of 3 definitely changed how I use my smartwatch. So with this UI, which is Garmin's newer operating system, the one they had on the Vivo Active 6, seeing a lot more gradients, you're seeing rounded edges, kind of cuter looking, more refreshed UI. All right, guys, so now I'm gonna show you some watch faces on here. And you can go ahead and customize a lot of these in terms of like the colors that you're seeing, as well as the actual data there as well. They do have analog and digital watch face options. Now these are the built-in ones. In addition to the built-in watch faces, you can go on the Garmin Connect IQ Store app and download a bunch more free and paid watch face options there. And if none of those, meet your needs, you could even make your own. You could choose your own photo that you've taken. You can use a preset background. You can choose an analog or digital watch face, choosing your own data, the colors, and all of that as well. So I do like the customizability here when it does come to watch faces. When it comes to steps, I think the steps have been very accurate. Now, I just do simple tests. I walk 100 steps, I count it out, and this smartwatch, 9 times out of 10 was accurate. Sometimes I'd be on step 100, it's on 100, sometimes it's on 99. And I'll say that if you are walking normally, swinging your arms as you're walking, you're gonna get your steps tracked. If you are someone who's walking and your hands are in your pockets, or if you're pushing a stroller or a shopping cart, you're not gonna get all your steps tracked there because you're not, swinging your arms properly for the smartwatch to know. Another metric that I think is great is the heart rate. Garmin has something called like a smart heart rate tracking, which tracks your heart rate like every minute. You can turn on to have it constantly track your heart rate, and you could turn off heart rate tracking completely as well if you want to like save battery life or if you don't need that function. You can also see your body battery, which I find pretty accurate. If I'm tired, it will say my body battery is low and they don't recommend working out. It does take into account your activities that you're doing, stress, your sleep, all of that. So I find that pretty interesting as well. Now, Garmin has a new thing called lifestyle logging where you can log things that you want to track. So for me, it's like I don't want to have late meals, and I want to make sure I'm having at least light exercise daily. So these are things that I can go ahead and I can track. Did I have a late meal today? No, I didn't have a late meal, so I'm gonna say no. Here I can go, did I light exercise? Yes, I have done that already. And these are things that you can track. There are more things that you can add on, but these are just the 2 that I'm doing right now. So if you are someone who gets stressed throughout the day, it'll give you high stress alerts, and it will say, hey, do you wanna do like relaxation breathing, or do you wanna take a break? We noticed you're high in stress. So I do like that it does have stress tracking. I think that could be pretty helpful. All right, guys, so I have noticed some cons about this smartwatch here. So the first con for me is that Garmin took away one of the buttons. Honestly, it annoys me like crazy because it changes the operation of the smartwatch so much. We used to have a button that you press and it would open to the settings. Now you just turn on the flashlight. So it would have been cool if we had the 3rd button so they wouldn't have had to just force these 2 to be different features. The new UI, in terms of the usability, I don't like that it's a bit harder to read because of, the gradients going on. And I also don't like that there's no more shortcut. On the other one, when I swiped it, there was a shortcut. Like when I say the other one, I mean on the Venu 3S, on the Venu 2S, it opens up this menu. If I press here, it opens up that menu. Like the redundancy annoys me to no end because they could have made this do something else. We could have had a shortcut here instead, or we could have had, button press opens your activities directly like on other Garmin smartwatches. Another con, when I'm doing an activity, they took away the text. So I'm like, okay, what am I looking at here? It doesn't make sense. Here I'm looking at heart rate, but like, what is this? Now it's not for all of the activities, but for some of them. For example, that's a cardio activity. But if I go ahead and I go to a walk, you can see it's like nicely laid out. I just found it really dumb that that's a thing because I like to do a lot of cardio and HIIT activities, and to just have numbers there, it's just really annoying to me that I don't know exactly what the numbers are pertaining to until after my workout when I could see all of the results. Another con for me with the smartwatch is the price. I do not understand why Garmin increased the price like $100. Yeah, we have a flashlight in here, cool. We have suggested workouts, but like with that pricing, you're definitely reaching the Garmin Phoenix territory if you're getting like the base model or a used copy. So you could just get a smartwatch with a lot more features potentially than the Venu here. Now we did see new features here, but do those features justify the price? I definitely think the price is too high for the smartwatch, but that's up to you to decide. Another con for me is the color options. I am a gold lover. I like yellow gold, I like rose gold. Garmin gave us neither. We have silver here, and then we have this like soft gold, which is like Garmin's made up gold color, which is nice, but it's hard to match because I wear like rose gold and gold and it doesn't match either. And silver, I don't wear much, but the purple here called my name because I'm a purple lover. A little bit disappointed that it's not super purple, but either way, the size up, they don't really have many feminine color options there. All right, guys, so the last con for me is that the brightness is not very adjustable at all. So you only really have 3 options here. You can choose to do 1, 2, or 3. On a lot of previous Garmin smartwatches, you can literally do brightness from like 10% to 100% in those intervals, but it's a lot less customizable now. When the smartwatch like decides to pump up the brightness, it just gets too bright sometimes. And sometimes it does lag when it comes to adjusting the lighting. All right guys, so considering the price, the quality, the color, the battery life, the performance, the functionality, the ease of use, and everything like that, I'd go ahead and give the Garmin Venu 4 here a 8.9 out of 10. I definitely do give it a thumbs up. So if you guys are looking to pick up the new Garmin Venu 4 here, I've gone ahead and left a link down in the description for you to use. And if there's anything I missed today that you want to know, go ahead and drop a comment below. I do read all the comments, so I'll definitely get back to you. And let me know what you guys think about the new Garmin Venu 4. Is this something that you are looking at getting? Or you may be looking to get the Venu 3S and save a little bit of money? Let me know as well. And stay tuned for my comparison once again on these two smartwatches, Venu 3S and the Venu 4. Gonna be coming soon. And all right guys, that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.